Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in today's video I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of my mini-series, How to Get Excited For, where in today's video I'm very excited to give you some recommendations on how to get excited for one of my most anticipated films of the year, The Mummy, coming out next week, June 9th, in theaters everywhere. Oh, it looks fun. It looks good. Oh, it looks like it's going to be such a fun movie. Now, not only is this a reboot of the Mummy franchise, but this is a beginning. It is the intended beginning of a shared cinematic universe for all of the Universal monsters. Yes, for those of you who don't know, this is meant to be the first entry of a chapter of a shared cinematic universe revolving around all of our favorite classic Universal monsters. So we've got the Mummy, and Russell Crowe will be playing Dr. Jekyll, aka Mr. Hyde, and from some of the footage we've seen, it looks like he'll briefly transform into Mr. Hyde for a few minutes or so in The Mummy. And then, of course, Javier Bardem has been announced to play Frankenstein's monster, along with Johnny Depp confirmed to be the Invisible Man. Just all of this exciting stuff happening revolving around The Mummy. So, of course, for those of you wondering, what can I do to get myself in the mood for The Mummy? Well, I've got some suggestions right here. Now, first and foremost, obviously, you could always watch the classic 1930s film, The Mummy, played by the amazing, the wonderful Boris Karloff, R.I.P. Mr. Karloff, who also played the original Frankenstein's monster. And he also played Imhotep in the original, I believe, 1932, that was the year it came out, film The Mummy, and that's a great film, great movie, and I personally do not own it, but if that's one of your favorite Universal monster flicks, I would recommend it. And if you don't own the original Mummy, you can always watch one of my favorite remakes. Of course, I didn't love the whole franchise, but I definitely love the first two. The 1999 version of The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser, of course, everybody remembers this movie. This was a fun, more action-adventure type film than a horror film. I mean, it has some scary moments in it, but this is definitely more Indiana Jones's feeling more than a monster movie, but it's still an enjoyable film. It's still a great flick to watch. So this is a fun movie, of course. It's got some great action sequences, some humor, some scary moments, scary-looking mummies, and other other little monsters here and there, like the nasty scarab things. So this is a fun one. If you don't own the original 1932 The Mummy, you can always watch the 1999 version of The Mummy right here. And then also on top of that, what I like to do sometimes is a good old-fashioned double feature. So after you're done watching the 99 version of The Mummy, watch its sequel, The Mummy Returns, from 2001, with one of The Rock's first acting gigs as the Scorpion King, and the returning cast from the first film as well. This one is definitely way more action-packed, a bit more exciting than its predecessor. And again, this is more of an action-adventure type film than an actual horror film. It does have lots of scary monsters in it, some pygmies, the Anubis army, and of course scary mummies and whatnot with mystical powers and everything. So again, another fun watch. Not everybody's favorite film or franchise for that matter, and I totally get that. I personally enjoyed these movies when they first came out, and I still enjoy them. I have not seen the third film, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, simply because I heard nothing but bad things about it, and doesn't sound that good. No offense to everybody who is involved in that movie, but I definitely enjoyed these two films. So if you don't own the original 1932 film of The Mummy, these two are a great watch right here. Now, if you're not a fan of Brendan Fraser or the recent reboot of The Mummy, the two films I just showed you, and if you wanna stick to the good old-fashioned roots of horror and watch a truly scary classic Universal monster movie, you could always watch one of my personal favorites. One of my all-time favorite Universal monsters, and I'm so excited that they're bringing him to the big screen again. I saw saw an Easter egg for him in one of the trailers for The Mummy, and then they hired the screenwriter who wrote Aquaman to write the remake for Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yes. Now, this particular set here has at least 3 movies on it, I believe. Creature from the Black Lagoon, Revenge of the Creature, and then the lesser-known film, The Creature Walks Among Us, which isn't that good. But Creature from the Black Lagoon, oh, such a good movie. And when I first saw this movie, I was about 10 or 11 years old, and I watched it during in the daylight, during the daytime on a Saturday morning, I think, and it still scared the hell out of me. The Gill Man is creepy, and it's still such a fun watch, just such a fun movie to watch overall. This is easily by far one of my all-time favorite Universal monsters, the Gill Man franchise, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to look like and what he'll bring to this new cinematic universe when his movie comes around. So very, very excited for that. So I would recommend Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then its sequel, Revenge of the Creature, isn't that bad either. But you could skip The Creature Walks Among Us. You're not missing anything. But definitely watch the original. This will get you in the mood for a classic Universal monster movie. So if you want to see a classic Universal monster film before you watch The Mummy, definitely one of these movies. And of course, maybe your favorite might be Dracula or Frankenstein or The Invisible Man, The Phantom of the Opera. These are all excellent choices, excellent ways to get yourself in the mood to watch another Universal monster film, which is exactly what The Mummy is. But it's just also very exciting that it's not only a Universal monster film, but the beginning of a shared cinematic universe, a world where all of these monsters and creatures coexist with one another, and that's a very, very exciting concept to me. And of course, last but not least, you can, if you're not a fan of the Gill Man or any of other of the previous monsters I mentioned, you could always watch my second favorite Universal monster, the Wolfman. Love the Wolfman. I love the original Wolfman. Lon Chaney does an amazing job as Larry Talbot and the Beast himself. And of course, Claude Rains plays his father, which is so funny because Claude Rains appears in other monster movies. He plays the Invisible Man in the original Invisible Man. And he also played the Phantom of the Opera in the 1943 film. And he plays Larry Talbot's father in this movie. Great movie, great movie. You really feel a sense of empathy and compassion for poor Larry Talbot as he reluctantly, continuously turns into a werewolf whenever the moon is full. And it's just such a good movie. And this particular DVD set includes other films such as Werewolf of London and She-Wolf of London. I think those are both British Universal monster films, and they're both pretty good. But another favorite of mine, which is like a direct sequel to The Wolfman, is Frankenstein meets The Wolfman, and that's a great movie. That's a very, very fun movie, and it's basically what it sounds like. Eventually, the Wolfman does battle with the Frankenstein monster, and it's actually really good for a black and white 1943 film. It's a lot of fun. But the Wolfman, oh, I love this movie. This is, next to the Creature from the Black Lagoon, this is my all-time favorite Universal monster. You know, such a good movie. These movies continue to have an impact on films that are made nowadays and, you know, beyond, from the present in the future. I believe there will be so many more movies that are going to be influenced by films like this one. Oh, so much great material to choose from, to watch from. And of course, you know, if you've seen all of these movies recently and you're not really in the mood to watch anything, you just want to jump right into The Mummy, there's another excellent way you can get excited for The Mummy. You can come to Universal Studios Hollywood and ride the Revenge of the Mummy ride. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another edition of How to Get Excited For It. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos like it. The Mummy hits theaters June 9th. It's going to be a fun one. Thanks again for stopping by. See you later.